Okay, you lovely folk, DS Blake here. I've got a new microphone with a sort of headset that will allow me to keep my hands free and hopefully get a lot more vocal audio stuff done on this channel. I've been practicing a bit, trying to get less ums and noises into my recording, so hopefully that works. Okay, so this picture, fantasy landscape using a reference image. I've been trying a new approach with colour lately. Previously I've been using colour schemes that are quite heavy on the pure black. The rationale behind that was I wanted my digital images to be seen on a screen rather than printed out, so I was taking my inspiration, trying to take an inspiration from the kind of colour schemes that you would see in stained glass particularly, and in certain works, for example some of the late, this is going to sound very pretentious, Marcel Duchamp pieces where he has backlit kind of photographs and things like that. But yeah, it's quite an unconventional approach and kind of has probably degenerated a bit over the years, made the images very hard to read, so I've broken away from that a bit. I've been going back to the classic good advice sort of approach of painting, you know, of impressionist kind of style of lighting, where you got the contrasting colours and the shadows, avoiding pure black, that sort of thing. And I think it's working out quite well. I've been using sort of reference images. See, here I used a reference image to sketch the landscape from, and also to sort of pull out these colours, which gives a sort of naturalistic range quite nicely. You can see they're picking. And then, as you see later on, I started to play with the lighting a little bit more. So here it's a daylight scene, but as I worked on it, I decided to change it around completely, which you'll see. For me, one of the nice features of fantasy art is that you can sort of think through the logic of a scene, you design a sort of a world within the picture. And so the inspiration for this actually came when I was reading, as you do, about qanats, which are sort of ancient Iranian irrigation system using long underground tunnels. And I was reading how they were used as a cooling system along with towers that cool down under the desert winds, and it sucks air up and drops air down, sort of between areas of hot and cold. Quite fascinating stuff, you know, quote unquote primitive engineering, but incredibly kind of well thought out, incredibly sophisticated in its own way. So I had this idea for this castle in the desert, you know, with its sort of underground water supply and its own kind of lands, you know, its own environment maintained within it, sort of oasis, if you will. And you can see here what I'm doing is I've suddenly changed the lighting out completely to make it a sort of dawn scene with the light coming from behind the viewer. Pretty much just an idea that came from when I added the glint in on the top of the watchtower. I thought something seemed like it needed a more directional kind of light source, and you know, these are sort of the nice little things that happen. One of the lovely things about digital art generally is that you can just change everything all the time. You can just put more. You can change colours completely in a heartbeat. You don't lose anything. Of course, you can always go back and redo if you want. But yeah, it's come out quite nicely, I think. Just putting a little nice bit in the background. And at the end of this, actually, as you'll see, I also flipped the image horizontally completely, mirrored it. Not quite sure. Just sort of, I was just looking at the end, and it just seemed to me like something was just a little bit off about it. And so I tried a few things, and that seemed to work. Kind of changes the grammar of the picture slightly, I suppose. It's, yeah, I'm not 100% sure why it works better, but just does to me. May not to you, but anyway. So yes, that's been this picture. I hope you like it, and I hope to talk to you again quite soon.